who do you think are going to be the winners and losers in this world of AI? Just kind of quick thoughts on that.
Creatives and innovators are going to be empowered the most.
Yeah.
I've never considered myself creative. I'm very good at imitating things that are built, but if you ask me to come up with the entrepreneurial idea myself,
Yeah.
that's a big struggle for me.
Yeah.
I can imitate, I can show me something and I can build it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask me to create something out of the blue, and that's a much harder task for me.
Yeah.
I'm not that creative mindset, but others, artists, painters, those kind of individuals, inventors,
Yeah.
those visionaries, this is going to empower them, because now you don't need 20 people to do a task. You are those 20 people.
Yeah.
Right? The barrier to entry cost is much lower now.
Yeah.
Game developers, really simple thing like indie developers in gaming. Used to be a programmer like myself, you would have to do your own art, or you would have to purchase your artwork, all of your Blender scripts and things like that. Now you just ask GPT to give you a Blender script to make whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it does a pretty good job at it. Texturing, modeling, rigging. You tell it, hey, I want this to work with Unity 3D. It sets up all the scripts for you. So a lot of that workload in that pipeline that used to take multiple people.
Yeah.
Now, if you have the idea, it's going to empower you as long as you're willing to put in the effort to make it work. So it can be empowering for creative individuals.
The creative individuals, innovators, entrepreneurs, they're all going to benefit from this sort of stuff.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on who's going to lose out?
Your factory worker programmers. That's I was talking about this today. The programmer really has become your factory worker in America and many other countries, right? It's your blue collar job. It's the equivalent of a factory job. Pays a little better, but it's the same thing. You get in there, you get a story, you produce something, you produce output, right? You put it through the conveyor belt, you build your software, you move on for your day. Those that are not your innovators, those are just your worker bees.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that stand to lose the most, because if you're not architecturally minded, if you're not creative, if you're not innovative, if you're just average, there's not as much need for average anymore. That's going to be the downsizing. That reduction in average, when we can build software faster, there's going to be an initial push to produce, but then there's not going to be a need for it as much. It's going to wane off. We see this with contractor layoffs. The offshore market in the U.S. is devastated right now.
Yeah.
Countries like India, the BRIC countries, they're going impacted heavily. Their workforce is, going to have to shift to something else. What happens when, they're heavily dependent on U.S. markets, and now U.S. markets don't have a need for them because we're trying to fill all of our local workers, that kind of thing. This is what it's doing. You're going to see a lot of these technology-centric companies to where it was just producing, not really innovating.
Yeah.
They're going to suffer. There's not that need for production. If all we're doing is automating a task, AI and robotics does it better.
Yeah, because it feels to me like the way we've represented it, maybe another way to look at it is all the boring, repetitive, remedial type of tasks are going away. So what it does is it seems to push you towards a world where, to say it in a positive way, follow your passion.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a lot done if you find that passion.
Yeah.
The flip side of it is, we're probably going to be stressed in some way as a society around how do we deal with people who haven't found that passion and they just want a regular job and a regular life.
Yeah. Not everybody's an innovator. It's a pyramid. You need those blocks at the bottom so that one block at the top can sit there. That's really how our society is built. And when there isn't those blocks at the bottom, that pyramid isn't going to be as high. We have to figure out something to supplement it. There has to be some way to fill that gap. I don't know. Otherwise, you're going to get a hungry masses. You're going to have a lot of problems on your hands.
Yeah,